Hello everyone. Welcome to my first vlog. I'm Sillywinkles. Most people know me, but obviously we have a lot of new people in the community, so this is your chance to kind of find out a little bit more about me, understand what I do, some of my opinions on ZG, where we're headed in the future, some of the things I'm trying to accomplish, uh, that sort of thing. Alright, so first of all, how about I kind of explain a little bit about myself? I'm going to be 21 in another 2 months. I'm in my third year of college. Studying IT. I was originally in computer science, but wanted a little bit of a change, and here I am with IT. I live in New Jersey, in the USA, obviously. I know some people probably don't know where that is, but hey, Google it. A little bit about my time in ZG. I joined last year around the end of July. I didn't really do too much until September, and then from there, I've always been in a staff position, going from a TL, which is like leadership trainee of League and A, to division officer, to DL from there, down to LT of Rift, from there AD of expansion, to CD of expansion, and now assistant executive director. So, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, for starts, what exactly is my position? What are my responsibilities in ZG? For starts, my responsibilities go across the board. Technically, I'm number two to Dr. Math, the clan founder. I'm supposed to lead when he's not around. If he's going on vacation, he's got things to take care of, that sort of thing, or he becomes too busy to do his thing. I'm here doing it for him basically, and backing him up when it comes to that sort of thing, and making sure ZG keeps rolling in the direction it's supposed to be. Um, but mainly, when he is around, I do a bunch of stuff, whether it's coming up with new structural ideas, coming up with new, you know, changes to staff positions, more responsibilities, trying to increase our, member interaction, things like that. My responsibilities, like I said, are just kind of all over the place, and it's more so what I take from it and try to at least do is, uh, you know, look for things that in ZG that we can improve on. Try to find things for us to try to find how to improve on these things, and from there, obviously, put it into effect, talk it over with the other admins, obviously, and see where it goes, and kind of examine it, see if it helps, and from there, if we need to tweak it even more, then tweak it even more. So that's my personal take on my position, at least, and so far, I've been enjoying it. Um, you know, I've been able to train a lot of people, give a lot of advice in situations, restructure some things, come up with some new ideas. I still have a ton of ideas I want to come up with, which I'm sure everyone will see down the road. Some of my work probably isn't as visible to members because I work very closely with the staff, at least, coming up with new ideas and improving things and finding out what's wrong with our divisions and trying to improve off of them, at least. Um, so, I mean, I guess from now I'll go into how, you know, I like ZG, I guess, and all that kind of stuff, since, obviously people probably want to hear my opinions of that. Um, I don't know. Throughout my entire life, I was really big into MMOs, like WoW and Guild Wars, RuneScape, and ever since then, in all of those games, ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to be on top, a leader, guild leader, guild officer, that sort of thing in every single game. Always was really competitive with my guilds, especially in WoW. I, set some records as on my hunter for DPS on certain boss fights when Cataclysm first came out. But obviously those are shattered now since people can just go trash the records now. But um, you know, I was always really big into gaming when I was a kid. Just I went to a private school, and we weren't really competitive when it came to sports. So, I got as soon as I got home, when I was done with, getting our asses kicked in baseball or soccer, things like that, I just go play WoW or, Guild Wars, something like that, and take it from there. my main game in ZG is probably League of Legends. Um, I've been playing it for about 3 years now, something like that. Since the middle of season two. So I'm not sure how long ago that is. I think that's 2 3 years ago. Whatever, not important. Um, but I really enjoy the game. It was a really nice change of pace coming from WoW. And actually I found out about ZG when I was looking for believe it or not, a competitive ranked team to play with because I was just I think gold 1 at the time on NA, and eventually I capped off at platinum 3. Got to like my promos and stopped playing for the season because they handed out rewards, and I kind of saw no point in pursuing diamond from that point. Anyways, but that's how I found out about ZG. You know, was looking for a ranked team. Didn't exactly get that from here, but the people were cool enough that I was willing to stick around and talk to people, and I still talk to some of the people that I first met when I joined ZG, and that was Quad, D, D's, those people, Shredder. Um, have all been are still here. I think D's is gone, but yeah, most of the people that I still talk to are still here, believe it or not. Um, so I mean, my overall personal experiences in ZG, it's been kind of, I don't know. I say a positive experience, obviously for the most part. I wouldn't still be here or in my position if I didn't think that. It's come a long way, definitely from when I joined. When I joined, I think we were only at 400 members, and obviously we've completely shit on that number, doubling it by now when it comes to the member count. Um, we have double the divisions, a lot more structuring, a lot more policies, a lot more rules, a lot more people, and a lot more activity, obviously. So I'd say things are doing a lot better than they were back then. I'm really confident in the admin team we have. The people we have in staff positions are doing pretty well, especially in the higher ends, which is great for me because I work very closely with admins and division leaders, and it makes my job very easy when people are obviously willing to do stuff and open to new ideas and always trying to improve things. So that's definitely kind of an awesome thing, and they're also a pretty cool group of guys, I'd say. So it's pretty easy to kind of sit around and bullshit with them and hang out. Um, so like I said, ZG's come kind of a long way since I've been here. There's been a fair amount of obviously drama and things like that, but we moved past it. We learn from our mistakes, and we approach them the second time around a lot better. And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, in my opinion. So I mean, that's pretty much it so far. I have to say. Now you guys get to see, the face behind, the person you always see commenting on just about everything on the forums, chilling in TeamSpeak, joking around. I used to be a massive troll. I remember, especially when I was DL of NA. But hey, once you go up in staff positions, I guess you get a little bit more serious, wanting to make sure things get done. And to me, I take my job pretty seriously. Obviously, to me, I really like improving ZG and making it a better place for our members. And I'm always open to ideas and opinions. People actually really give me a lot of compliments about that I'm open to talk to. I'll listen to people. If you have ideas, hey, if it's gonna better ZG, I'll listen to it definitely. Or if you have criticism, negative or feedback, it's still criticism and it helps out in some way, shape, or form. Especially with my job. So that's always welcome. But like I said, this is my first vlog. I don't really have too much else to really talk about right now. I made a thread that I was asking people for plenty of questions that they want answered, at least from my perspective. And let's, I guess, jump into that. Let's see. So the first serious question I have here is from Bokenhang, who actually left CG today to join a more MMO-based clan. Let's see. What do you think about the future of Zealot Gaming? How will it work out with the active members? Do you think it's going to be the same, be better or worse, and how are you planning on getting on it? Um, this is a good question. Obviously, it's been a really hot topic, I guess you could say, floating around the clan wide. Um, let's see. The future of ZG, as long as I'm in my position, I can confidently say it's always going to be better. Um, from there, like I said, I'm always looking to improve things and get criticism and basically improve ZG. So I think ZG is always going to be a really good community to be in. And as long as we consistently improve on the things that we're lacking or just not really, up to par as other communities, I think ZG is going to be top tier, obviously, if it isn't already. Um, I want to eventually look into things like competitive sports, a little bit more structuring for divisions, having more activities for people to do, because right now it's kind of just game nights and hey, cool story, bro. Get on TeamSpeak, play with people, all that kind of stuff. So, like I said, I have a lot of ideas up my sleeve still. I'm just getting around to them. There's only so much time in the day. Like I said, I enjoy my job a lot, but I do have friends. I like to play with them. I like to play games still. I do work throughout the day. I'm a uni student, so I get around to things. I try to get to them in a pretty quick fashion, but I'll get around to them. Um, how will it work out with the active members? Do you think it's going to be the same, be better, or worse? Um, Personally, I think in time it's going to be better because, like I said, I have some ideas to kind of work on this. How to increase forum activity a little bit more, which is obviously going to increase our active member count a little bit more. If you're focusing purely on numbers, divisional activity in general, I want to try to increase with a couple more ideas for events. Um, you know, some things that are unique, I should say. And working on staff being a little bit more, hands-on if they aren't already, and branching out to newer members and that sort of thing. We already have new member game nights, which are pretty much a success in almost every division, unless they're called Smite. But whatever. We'll work on that. I don't know. Maybe this is at probably the bottom of my list since it hasn't done well in the past many times. But maybe clan-wide events. Like I said, it's at the bottom of my list since we had a lot of failures on that end in the past. But I'll probably pick it up eventually, see what we're doing. I also want to raise the quality of our staff a little bit more. Ever since I've been in my position, I could definitely say that the quality of people we have in staff has definitely increased. We have a lot more policies, especially for people that break rules in staff. They just get demoted now if they get a point. What else? More responsibilities for staff. I'm all about going the extra mile to make things better for a division and make new member experiences better in ZG. So first impressions to me are a big deal when it comes, especially to gaming clans and communities, guilds, things like that. Because the first thing people see, if it's obviously a good experience, they're more inclined to come back. Well, yeah, I roughly got into answering Vulcan's question here, so I'll move on to the next one. This one's from Mirthayu. As soon as a higher position senior members or even the creator of ZG leaves or something heartbroken occurs, what do you think that our current and future members are able to keep ZG? Oh, do you think that our current or future members are able to keep ZG running or do better than what we have accomplished right now? That's a tough question. Like I said, I think the admins we have right now are pretty strong at what they do. Like I said, we just promoted Deet also to CD of leadership, who I know is trying to work on the department and improve things. My position is also kind of a backup to Math in case anything happens to him, or I have to take over, things like that. So I'm here if something like that happens. Future members, to be honest, I really don't know. I hope, but we do have a lot of I guess ideas and systems now. We're trying to make sure that division leaders make sure they have a DL ready to step up at this point, to become DL if they ever have to step down. Because like I said, this is all voluntary work. Things like this can always be anything could happen. People might need to step down because of schoolwork getting too rough, need to get a new job, things like this, family emergency, who knows. So you never know. But we're trying to at least train people better in their positions so that if they need to take a higher position, they can step up. So to answer the question, I mean, I hope so. I think it could happen, but there's never that 100% like sure, I guess you could say, feeling for me on this. We have had a few divisions closed in almost a 1 to 2 month gap. I suspected that these divisions were started before I even joined. What brought the downfall of these wonderful divisions? What do you think these divisions, or even a whole community, should have done to bring the success in these divisions? All right, so there's a few reasons that we had a giant upspring in divisions and couldn't support them. Back in May and June, we promoted a lot of ECs. We had a lot of issues finding a way to recruit people to EC, so we kind of just gave anyone that we saw some sort of potential in a chance in this position, and some of them were successful in bringing in divisions, but from that batch of ECs, believe it or not, we have 0 people right now that are ECs that were ECs during that time. So at the time we had 14-ish ECs, I think, believe it or not, and they're all going off bringing in their own thing. If they resign or something, which consistently happens, believe it or not, and ECs have a very high turnover rate. If we don't have anyone to back up these divisions and kind of staying as the backbone, if the staff resigns, like the LTs, it's very hard to keep it back, like keep it together and making sure things like that happen. Some of them were started off a really shitty foundation. We didn't do enough research on it. We promoted the wrong people into staff positions that weren't qualified at the time to take LT. Some of them were just miscommunication, like let's see, what was it, Wildstar. And on top of that, I'm also gonna point out that members also can bring in divisions. It's not you don't have to be just an EC to bring in a division in ZG. So especially when members bring in divisions and we don't have any expansion coordinators that want to work on that game, it's very easy for that division to fail, because if let's say, quote unquote, the member that brings it in doesn't get a person who's really motivated to make it happen in ZG, it's probably not going to happen. So that happens a fair amount of times too. And on top of that, like I said, ECs just have a very high turnover rate, and it can be a lot to manage on the admin side if we don't have ECs working on things. You don't exactly have to be in the game to support it, but let's just say when the division's not doing well, it's kind of highly advised and needed to at least have someone in the game actively recruiting and trying to make sure things happen. Let's see. Do you think we need to teach members how to recruit? As a community, we need to grow a lot. Some members may not know how to recruit. I definitely agree with that. I'd say a lot of members, at least 70% of our community, definitely does not know how to recruit. For multiple reasons. Some people obviously just don't care. It's not their thing. Or, they're not connected to ZG in a way that, other staff members are. Not too sure what the reason is, but, I can definitely say, just from being in this position and training a lot of people, that recruiting is not a natural born instinct. I mean, a natural born talent that people have, and people should definitely be trained. I think it'll definitely obviously help if members know how to recruit and are more engaged in it. The extra help is always not welcome. So, it's good if we grow, obviously, but if we grow too big, it can be a little too much to manage, and we've seen that in some of our league divisions that have gotten so big that it can be very tough for the DLs to manage and the staff to manage and keep a strong activity rate and involvement in all of the members from the division. How do you think we can increase activity on the forums, even though it's not required to be on that long? Post something in 2 weeks. Do you think we need more activity on the forums? More or less, I really see members saying, "Welcome to new members on the forums." I really kind of don't have an opinion on forum activity. Like, obviously, I'd love to see it, go up, but after all, this is a gaming community. People obviously are gonna want to just play games, socialize, bullshit with people on TeamSpeak. And the forums may not be as important to most of our members. From what I've seen, we have very lax form requirements compared to other communities, which is good, and it's kind of sad when people still don't want to abide to it or don't agree with it or still, can't follow it for some reason. But like I said, I'd love to see it higher. There's only so much you can do when it comes to forum activity, but there's some ideas with game nights that I've been talking to the DLs on how to improve forum activity, and it might be kind of directly related to each other, and I think it'll increase forum activity a little bit more. And then, like I said, I have a few more ideas down the road to kind of get this, increase forum activity a little bit. Alright, next question. Alright, these two are from Farius. How do you think Zelda Gaming will face the inevitable pressure towards competitive gaming and esports that's being brought up more and more in various divisions? I personally challenged this competitive scene through Counter-Strike mainly, but I've had to let it go as I realized how Zelda Gaming's values lie in casual gaming, and you can't force competitive gaming onto a community with casual roots. Your thoughts on the subject of rising competitive interest? Personally, I support it a lot. I would love to see ZG have competitive teams, LCS teams, or challenger level teams for League of Legends, things like that would be awesome. I don't think it's too realistic, obviously, but it'd be awesome. But I think taking it step by step when it comes to competitive gaming is kind of the approach we need to take. Right now, we're very casually oriented, and I think just taking the step, for example, in our league divisions to start making ranked teams and having people organize them and encourage them and start recruiting people and saying we have ranked team, management, things like that. Are one of the first steps into getting people into competitive. On top of that, raising more awareness for the professional scene in our divisions too is obviously another thing that I think could definitely increase the interest in competitive gaming also. And then from there, we can see where we take it. I haven't planned out the next step there. Like I said, this is on my list, but I haven't gone I haven't done too much thinking on competitive gaming, but I think starting there and seeing if we can get there, through those first two steps, could definitely be, see how much potential we actually have in that area, and then we can take it from there. Next question. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the trouble swarming around the explosion that is our membership count. A lot of trouble and drama has been on the front page of Zelda Gaming in the recent months, and I personally think it's directly linked to a higher member count. The more apples you pluck, the more bad apples you are bound to get. I've also heard it's simply the changes in ZG that are causing this uproar in everything from sexual harassment to privacy debates. Thoughts? Alright. Let's see. So, obviously, ZG is growing at a strong rate. I think we've kind of capped a little bit for the summer. Around 900 members, 850. I gotta check the exact numbers, but obviously this is directly linked. The more people you do have, obviously you're gonna have some people that are just crazy or can't keep their nose out of things like that. And it's kind of sad when things get to that point, that such as sexual harassment. That's obviously a really, really extreme case, probably one of the most extreme cases we've had here. And all I can say is we just have to encourage members to step up when things happen and say something to, especially admins submitting tickets, making sure these things get handled before they turn out to be a massive drama storm causing a lot of problems in a giant division. Things like that are just obviously something we need to watch out for. And obviously, if you're a staff member, especially if you see any of this happening or hearing any of this, you guys should definitely step up and say something, do something to stop it, or obviously hand it to a higher cause that can honestly handle it, such as justice tickets and approaching an admin about it. Privacy debates, enough said. We've had a lot of talk in the boardroom within the past 2 weeks, believe it or not, about the confidentiality of justice tickets. And making sure that information never gets leaked and shouldn't be brought up in the first place, especially if the ticket's handled, unless it's for evidence on a new ticket, things like that. So, obviously it just comes down to us, making sure that our admins are not talking about these things, especially if they happened in the past. That happened, but from this point forward, obviously, we need to make sure that it doesn't happen. Privacy debates, especially into people's personal lives. We have policies now about that. You guys can look into that. But I mean, I do think it's got to do with obviously a higher member count, and it comes down to just also, members stepping up when things happen, trying to make sure it gets handled, not being afraid to say something, and the admins and staff in general handling it much better than it's been handled in the past. That's all I can say. And from there, we've looked into the ways we've been handling justice tickets. We've gone over what admins the proper and most fair way to handle justice tickets, hearing every side of the story now, because there have been a lot of instances in the past that it hasn't happened. Things like that have just been stuff I've wanted to go over with admins, and I've done actually as recently as 2 weeks ago. On top of that, we have changed the justice ticket, made it a little bit more clear for us to read, get to, things like that. A little bit more informative for us, so it'll help, I think. Hopefully things like this don't happen in the future, and if they do, we'll handle it. Alright, next question. I think this might be it for the serious questions. Yeah, lots of troll questions, it looks like. Yeah, so alright, this one I guess is a serious question from Arezzo. What do you like most about our community? The people, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of things obviously I like about the community, or I wouldn't be here. Probably, yeah, I guess I could say the people. I've met a lot of people here, a lot of friends, and that's that. Anything else on this thread? No, it doesn't look like anything else serious. Yep, everything else looks pretty troll. Alright guys, so, I guess this is it for my first vlog. Like I said, my name's Sillywinkles. Most people call me Winkles or Silly, or even Tom, my first name. My close friends call me Tom. And then, my position's Assistant Executive Director in ZG, and if you guys have any questions, concerns, or even questions you want me to answer in the next vlog, I'll be happy to answer them. So, thanks for listening.